So if I start the session right away, as I said, I'm Jon Cheek, Uni TasterDays Director, and I'll host the session throughout. If I could just introduce our first speaker, that is Hannah Pears. Hannah is joining us from the Uni Connect network, the Uni Connect scheme, and Hannah is going to talk about decisions that students have ahead of them. So Hannah, if you don't mind, the floor is yours. Without further ado, take it away. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see so many of you on this webinar. As Jon said, my name is Hannah Pears. I work for Hello Future, which is one of 29 Uni Connect programmes up and down the UK. Hello Future is an independent organisation, so all the advice and guidance I give in the next 10 to 15 minutes is completely independent from any particular university or college. And I'm going to jump right into it. I do have a presentation, so I'm just going to share my screen with you all. This is to help those of you who are visual learners. I am definitely a visual learner, and I like to be able to see something on the screen whilst also hearing someone speak. So I'm going to talk to you this afternoon about making great higher education choices. I'm quickly going to touch on degree apprenticeships. Now, I believe a lot of our viewers this afternoon are interested in the university route. But we may have one or two of you that are interested in degree apprenticeships, or potentially you've never heard of a degree apprenticeship, and this is new information to you. I won't labour for too long on this, but if you are interested, over on the Hello Futures website, we have a downloadable guide, which is a student's guide to higher and degree apprenticeships. And this is a unique way of building up to a degree. There's more and more degree apprenticeships becoming available now. In lots of different sectors, particularly healthcare sectors. Law is becoming bigger for degree apprenticeships, the arts and computing and digital as well. You'll see from the screen, you can build up all the way to level 7, which is master's level with a degree apprenticeship. And degree apprenticeships are very specific. So if you were looking on how to make a choice about a degree apprenticeship, you'd need to go to the government website. It is just like applying for a job, very different from applying to a direct university. You'll spend 60 to 80% of your time in industry, so working directly for your company, and then 40 to 20% of your time will be spent in a university or college setting, learning the academic side of your degree. From that, you've probably gathered it's quite rigorous, and you need to pass both your degree and pass your apprenticeship as well, quite intensive. Because it's just like a job, it varies from place to place in the country, so you will need to do a lot of your own research. I'm going to move over now to making choices about university or college-based degrees, because I think that's what a lot of our viewers have come to learn about today. Your university or college-based degree takes you from level 4 up to level 6 to make your honours degree, but then you can go further than that. You can go to level 7 and level 8 to build to your master's or even PhD. So being able to choose a university or college that has a degree that is right for you is really key for your future, because you're going to be spending quite a lot of time there. So how do we choose? If you're right at the start, if you're maybe in year 1 of college or year 12, and you're just beginning to think, I'd quite like to study for a degree, the main place you can go is the internet. Go to UCAS.com, which is the website that you would apply through, but it's the place that houses all of the degrees that are available within the UK. So it's a great starting point. Once you potentially know what you want to study and maybe where, it's about narrowing that down a little bit. And there's 2 really great ways to do this, I think at least. The first way is by going to UCAS fairs. Now these run right throughout the academic year usually, from September through to June. They're big exhibitions, usually held in stadiums or concert halls, and it's a central place you can go to meet people from lots of different universities and lots of different providers. And so really great place to chat to loads of new and different people. The other option is open days. So this is where you go directly to a university campus, and you're going to get a real feel for an individual institution. As I said, UCAS fairs right throughout the academic year, And then for open days, they tend to be either more at the start of the academic year or towards the end of the academic year, and do have a slightly different focus, as you'll see from the screen, dependent upon which part of the year you pick to visit. And remember, you have power for these events as well. These universities want to meet you. They're really keen to find out about you. They want you on their courses, so don't be nervous. You know, go in there with plenty of confidence and find out what you need. Just to mention, obviously, on the screen, you'll see June and July there highlighted as a time for open days. We are currently experiencing a time of social distancing. Universities and colleges are moving much of their open days online now through virtual and digital means. So it will be very much about visiting websites, visiting social media platforms, and finding out how you can access these particular events through the internet. So how do you prepare? So before you attend these events, whether it be face-to-face or virtually, you're going to want to narrow down your choices. So you're going to need to think about which courses you're interested in, where you'd like to live in the country, and creating a short list of your top universities is going to be super key. My top tip is have a notepad ready. Start jotting down your questions right from the moment you kind of start deciding which university or which institution you'd like to apply for. And you can take this notepad along to anywhere you do visit, or if you're doing it online virtually, you can have it next to you, and you can note all your answers down. If you're a bit more techie than I am, you can use your mobile phone or a tablet to take pictures, and you'll be able to obviously refer back to those when you're making your final choices. Visit websites as much as you can. This is to gather timetables, get maps or floor plans, and this is going to help you prep for your day if you're visiting. And hopefully from next academic year, some of the restrictions may have lifted. So if you're in year 12 or level 1 of college, we may start to see more face-to-face events coming through again. But obviously that's unknown at the minute. So it's about trying to make good choices for yourself right now as well. So what's on offer at an open day? There's all sorts on offer at an open day. They're very exciting events and I can't recommend them enough. There's lots of talks that happen, whether it be generic, such as student finance, or a bit more specific to that institution, such as the student life talk. You can go on lots of tours, see the accommodation, the campus, the city, and then my favourite bit of an open day is being able to speak to students and staff directly, getting their perspective on what it's like to be part of that university or institution. So how do we make that choice? We've gathered all our information, we know what we need to know. How do we finally choose the place that is right for us? On our website, we have a downloadable choices guide, which is independent, and you could work through that. In your local area, because there's loads of people logged on today from right across the country, in your local area, there might be an independent careers service or one of the other Uni Connect programs that you can visit. It's a big choice. You're going to potentially move somewhere for 3 to 5 years of your life. You're going to be studying a degree whilst building a social life in this new place for yourself. It's not to be underestimated, this choice. And the way that I often know if I've made a good choice is if it feels right in my tummy. Do I get that gut instinct where I go, yes, this was the right choice for me? And sometimes that can be a little bit hard. I mentioned I'm a visual learner, so I would like to get the pens and the paper out, get my highlighters ready, and I would make lots of pros and cons lists and spider diagrams. I'd lay them all out on the floor and have a look. And if there's one institution which is coming up with lots of positives for me, lots of pros about why I should be going to that institution to study my degree, that would highlight to me that this is the place to study. And that might be a good way for you guys to make a choice too. Make sure you've picked the right route. Make sure you understand all the different routes. There's lots of different ways of gaining a degree, so make sure you understand all of those and have a good research. Finally, I'd speak to people, friends, family, teachers, advisors, people like myself. I'd also speak directly to the universities, whether it be through phone or email, and get perspectives from other people. That can really help when it comes down to making choices, and it can really help you have a bit of a different input and think about things in a slightly different way, which can be very helpful. YouTube is such a fantastic resource. I love YouTube. This is some screenshots from our YouTube site here at Hello Future, but I'd really recommend, if you're looking into a particular university, find their YouTube site. They'll have some fantastic drone footage of campus, probably showing you the sports facilities and Students' Union. They'll often have a day in the life blog, which shows you students taking you through their course, what it's like to be a student there for a day, and that can give you a really good feel. And I think, especially in the current times that we're facing, being able to find that information through YouTube can be really key. So I'd recommend that as a top tip. A lot of stuff has moved online now. We have more rich content online than ever before. You'll see on the top right of your screen there, that's a virtual open day. It's a screenshot from a virtual open day that would guide students through lots of different elements. You'll see on the bottom left of your screen 360-degree tours of the campus and campus snapshots. You'll also notice the messenger icon of a chat to our students. A lot of universities and colleges have incorporated chatbots into their website now. So you can live chat, usually to a student, but sometimes staff, and get quite quick answers to questions. We're launching our live chat service next week on the 1st of June. But it can be a really great way for you to get some quite quick answers if you need to. Just want to highlight to you guys, if any of you are hoping to start your degree in September, the UCAS deadline day for your choices is the 18th of June, so that's coming up super fast. So if you've heard back from all the institutions you've applied for, you now need to make your choice by the 18th of June. So really do spend the next sort of couple of weeks considering what is the best fit for you and where you would like to study. I'm just going to finish off there. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hello Future is available right across social media and on our website if you want to join us. I'm going to be here for the rest of the webinar. I'm going to be in the question and answer box down below. So if you have any direct questions for me, please do ask and I'll do my very best to answer them. Thanks for listening. I am now going to pass back over to Jon.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you very much. And thank you for cancelling the screen recording as well. That's really good. Brilliant session. Really appreciate that, Hannah. Thank you. And right at the end of the session, Hannah's going to be joining us again just to deliver a 1-minute introduction to the Uni Connect scheme and also the organisation that she works for, which is one of 29 of them, and that's Hello Future. So what I want to do now is introduce our second speaker, and that is Perry James, who's going to be joining us today from the University of Essex. Perry is a student recruitment and marketing assistant over at Essex and is going to deliver a brilliant session all about student life and what essentially students can expect at university. And then Meg will pick that up later on and look at the differences between school and university as well. So Perry, without further ado, the floor is yours, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jon, for that great introduction. I've just kind of shared my screen with you now, so you should be able to see exactly what I'm seeing. Student life is a brilliant kind of choice at university that you kind of get to make sure that you have the best experience possible. You may be going to university just to kind of be spending your life kind of in the library and working on your essays for a few years. But for a lot of students, they want to have those kind of few years as the best kind of experience as possible. So I'm going to cover today a bit kind of on your kind of the aspects of a university experience and kind of how to make the most of it whilst you're there at university. And I'm also going to kind of cover what kind of makes university that kind of great place to build up those networks, to kind of be open to a lot of kind of different things, and all the kind of different things that could be kind of available to you whilst you're there. So to start with, why should you be at university in the first place? Now, I know kind of Hannah kind of touched upon this kind of briefly in the last session, but kind of whatever kind of you want to go to university for, it's kind of, you'll have your own reasons for doing so. These are just kind of a few kind of popular reasons for students to go into university. So a big one obviously is kind of improving your job prospects. Statistics show that you kind of really prosper in your career in the future by having that degree. It's also a great opportunity to study something you love for the kind of next few years of your life, to really go in depth on a subject that you may not have had the opportunity to do so before. And it's also a great kind of chance to have these new experiences. For some students, that might be to leave home for the first time. It might be kind of to get kind of a new social circle and learn lots of different new skills as well. But in terms of your job prospects, the main reason why a lot of students go to university, by having a degree, it can really kind of add value to your portfolio. So in terms of across your working life, the statistics show that you're likely to earn £500,000 more across your working life than those who won't go to university. So by having those kind of extra skills in place, it can really kind of propel you to the kind of top jobs available in the sector. And a big one as well that a lot of kind of students forget about is that you don't necessarily have to have your kind of career path set out for you at this moment in time. I mean, it's brilliant if you kind of already have an idea, I want to be a doctor, and you kind of know exactly what you need to do. But at this stage, if you're kind of doing your A-levels or a similar qualification, there's no kind of pressure to know exactly what you want to do at the moment. And that's because 70% of graduate level jobs don't require a specific degree at all. Often on job applications, they'll just kind of have a little bit saying any degree is fine. So yeah, no pressure at the moment in time if you're not kind of sure what to do. And this really is because of the transferable skills that you gain from doing a degree. And what I mean by transferable skills are skills that you can kind of gain that you can apply to a lot of different areas. So things like organisation, time management, problem solving, these are all kind of key soft skills which are embedded within a degree. So whilst you're learning kind of a lot of kind of different subjects information about kind of the course you're studying, you will also develop these kind of key skills as well to a really high standard. And this is something that employers will be really looking for when you graduate and you're looking for those jobs. But taking it right back to kind of probably the main reason you'll be going to university is to study and to kind of get that kind of piece of paper at the end of it which says that you have a degree. In terms of the way that you're taught at university level, it's mainly kind of split into two main areas. So you kind of with your lectures, this is normally where kind of someone's speaking to you at the front of a class for a few hours, and you just kind of write notes. You can't really ask too many questions in these sessions. And then the seminars are kind of more of a classroom setting where you can have a bit more of a discussion, maybe a debate, depending on kind of what you're working on. And it's a chance to kind of discuss what happened in the lecture and any reading that you kind of are taking part in as well. Those two are normally kind of used for a lot of subjects, but depending on kind of what course you'll be studying, this will vary. So if you're doing a scientific subject, then you may be doing a lot of kind of laboratories where you do a lot of experiments in some of the purpose-built facilities at a university. And you might have some tutorials as well, which is kind of more kind of one-on-one contact with a member of teaching staff. In terms of what this looks like for your timetable, this will inevitably vary depending on what you're studying, but expect it to vary from about 8 to 30 hours per week, depending on which university you end up going to. For humanities subjects, so if you're kind of doing kind of essay writing subjects, it's probably likely to be at the kind of lower end of that scale, so kind of between 8, 12 hours a week. And that's because you have a lot of kind of independent studying time whilst you're at university. And what I mean by independent studying is the kind of time that you can take to write your essays and your kind of other pieces of coursework, which you don't need kind of contact teaching time for. And then kind of all going up to the kind of top ends of the scale is normally for kind of scientific subjects, which require a lot of laboratory work or kind of on-hand placements. In terms of what that actually looks like in a timetable, this is kind of a timetable which you're probably used to kind of a few years ago at school, so it's quite structured in how it looks, and there's kind of little flexibility within this. This here is kind of an example timetable of a typical theatre student at university. So you can see on the timetable that there's quite a lot of gaps in there, and that there's kind of only really kind of four main teaching blocks for the week. So it means that you kind of obviously have a lot of flexibility to structure that independent studying time and all of the other things that you need to do throughout the week. So whilst in theory this is kind of a student's timetable that is true to kind of a typical student, this here is kind of what a typical student's actual timetable would look like once you kind of incorporate all of those other areas. So you also need to consider those independent studying times. So in there, I've kind of put that in burgundy on the timetable. So things like reading for your classes. If you have kind of group projects, then you'll need to meet with other members of your team as part of that project. The green bits on there is kind of all the things that you kind of need to look after yourself for. So remembering to kind of eat and kind of go shopping, wash your clothes, all that kind of thing. Kind of the bits on there in red are the kind of chances that you have perhaps to have a part-time job. It's quite a popular option for a lot of students. And the other bits in the evenings there, I put down kind of as a socialising kind of time. So the chance to kind of have a bit of fun and also kind of meet some like-minded people whilst you're studying. In terms of kind of the skills that you'll gain whilst you're at university, there's a huge kind of range of different life skills that you might obtain whilst you're being there. So whilst it's not kind of compulsory for you to move away whilst you're studying, a lot of students decide to do that for the kind of different kind of aspects of student life. So whether that's kind of cooking or cleaning, or kind of washing or ironing your clothes, these are kind of a lot of different skills that you may get from the university experience. And what I'd recommend to you guys, if you've got a bit of time right now, is kind of start learning these skills. It's never too early to kind of start picking up kind of how to budget or how to kind of look after yourself really whilst you're at university. So if you can, those kind of can be really kind of key preparations for going to university. But in terms of kind of when you're actually there at university, a lot of kind of students decide to live in university owned accommodation for their first year, so often known as halls. And these can be a really good chance to get to know people as soon as you move in. There's often students in the kind of the similar situation as you that are kind of new students to the university, and yeah, can be kind of in good locations to all the university facilities as well. At Essex and a lot of other universities, accommodation is normally guaranteed for your first year as long as you apply before the set deadline. And that means that kind of you don't really need to worry too much about your accommodation for the first year. It should kind of all kind of be sorted as long as you make that application before the deadline. With the accommodation, some of them are kind of a mixture between ensuite, where you have your own bathroom, and shared bathrooms. All depends on kind of really what you're looking for. Ensuite accommodation is naturally kind of a bit more expensive, so how much do you really kind of value that extra space in your bathroom, and how much are you willing to pay for it as well. Normally in the UK, accommodation is normally single occupancy, so you'll have your own room. It's very rare the kind of universities in the UK to have kind of the American style system where you share a room with other people, although it kind of does happen in some universities. All the bills are normally included, including high-speed internet, of course, within your accommodation price, so you don't need to worry too much about that as well. And cleaning is also kind of included normally within the kind of rent price as well of the accommodation, so you can kind of expect your kind of communal areas to be cleaned whilst you'll kind of be studying. But within all of this, you're not alone in your student experience whilst at university. There is a lot of kind of different support services available to you. So whether that's kind of having someone to talk to about kind of problems that you have. At Essex, we have Student Services Hub, which is the home for all of our student support at the university. So that can help you with like accommodation, IT, any kind of mental health issues that you may have. We have kind of dedicated facilities and support services for those students. We also have like a doctor's surgery on campus too. So you can register that when you first start at the university. And we also have a nightline service, which is a service which runs overnight when most other student support services are closed. So there's a whole kind of different kind of facilities available to you. There's also often peer mentoring and personal tutor schemes. Peer mentoring is where you are kind of allocated a student in a kind of second or third year at the university, and they can kind of meet with you and discuss kind of any problems that you might be having and give a bit more informal advice. And there's also kind of personal tutor schemes around as well, which is where you have kind of a teaching and staff member who is allocated to you, and you can meet with them whenever you like to kind of go over any problems that you may be having. But those kind of all depend on which university you're going to, of course. A big part of student life in the current age that we're living in is travelling. It may be kind of ironic seeing the current circumstances that we're in, but hopefully once all of this kind of blows over, you'll have the opportunity to really make the most of the travelling opportunities available to you. So a lot of students decide to study abroad whilst they are a student. So it means that they can either do a year studying in a different country, and there's often chances to do a term as well, or even kind of a summer kind of experience as well. So that can be a really good chance to learn a new culture, perhaps learn another language as well, also whilst receiving that kind of student finance as well. So those can be kind of really good programs available. And with those, you can kind of often go all around the world. When I was a student at university, I went to Australia for a year as part of my degree. Some of my friends, they went to like Canada, America, Netherlands, other places in Europe too. So it can be a really kind of cool experience that you can really embed within your degree and have a lot of different experiences to shout about when you get home as well. Now, when you're kind of on the campus at universities, the students' unions are often a big part of the student life at the university. These are usually separate organisations from the university, and it's their kind of job really to make sure that you have the best experience possible, and also to provide independent advice if you need it. And a huge part of what they do are different sports clubs and societies, which are the opportunity to meet like-minded students, and also to kind of gain a lot of kind of different skills and experience too. So these are the sports clubs which we have at the University of Essex. As you can see, there's a lot of different choices there, all from like football to rugby, which you might expect, and some unusual ones as well, like ultimate frisbee. With all of the sports clubs and societies, these are purely student driven and kind of funded by the Students' Union. So this means that you can get funding from the university to run these clubs, and you can set one up if there isn't one available to you. So there's kind of a lot of kind of different choices on there. And the same can be said for societies as well. So these kind of can be seen as kind of interest groups. So you can meet people with similar interests to you. And these are divided up into kind of a lot of different sections. So different activities, different cultures, different kind of music tastes, arts as well. There's a huge kind of list here. And again, like the sports teams, these are completely student driven. So these kind of change all the time, depending on kind of what students want from their student experience. And finally as well, before I leave you guys today, I just want to talk to you quickly about paid work whilst you're at university too. So often kind of students, they want that kind of extra paid work, not just kind of for having kind of a bit of extra money, but also to have that extra experience as well for when they kind of look for jobs in the future. And there's a lot of kind of opportunities at universities for this. So there are student ambassador schemes where you can represent the university whilst you're studying there. And there's a lot of kind of different services and facilities around, especially if you're going to a campus university, which is where kind of everything's in the one place. There are different shops and restaurants and pubs, which you can all work in. Often they have a lot of student staff and a lot of different opportunities for you to gain some cash while you're studying. At Essex, we have a few different schemes as well. So we have a front runner scheme, which is where you can have an internship in a different department of the university whilst you're studying there. So for example, when I was at the university, I studied drama. So I took an aspect on the marketing team in the theatre that we had on campus. So that was a really good chance to gain some experience and really kind of led to my kind of job that I have today. And there's also kind of what we call the Europe scheme as well. So if you're looking to do research in the future and you're looking to go above and do like a master's and PhD, then this can be a really good scheme where you can be paid to support a teaching staff member work on their own research at the moment. So there's a lot of kind of different opportunities to work as well. So this is it for kind of today. I've seen kind of a few questions go into the Q&A section, so I'll get on and answer those for the rest of the session. And feel free to kind of keep adding to those as we go through. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Perry. And Perry, if you just don't mind just closing down your screen just so it comes back to me. Brilliant session again, Perry. As you said, lots of questions. When you mentioned you went travelling to Australia, loads of questions came in, as you can probably imagine. So really, really good session about student life. And I love the timetable as well. Fantastic. Right, last but not least, someone I know really well, I'm going to introduce Meg now. Meg is a student recruitment officer at St Mary's University in Twickenham, and also Meg's essential responsibility comes under schools and colleges, so just people like yourself. So very fitting that Meg's joined us today. She's also been very brave in using technology to make the session really interactive, so I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you, Meg. I'll pass the floor over to you. Enough of me, straight on to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. So today I am going to be talking through the key differences between sixth form and college. As John said, I do work at St Mary's University in Twickenham, and I work with schools and colleges, so year 12s and year 13s, and help you make informed decisions before you make that all-important choice of where to go to university. So I will be talking through the different teaching methods at university, as well as the student support at university. I know Perry just went through a lot of this, and as I am going to be doing a quiz, this will be a challenge as to how much were you paying attention, or kind of a self-reflection of, okay, what do I need to go away and still reflect on and still research. I will be around the end of the session to continue answering Q&As, because as the questions come through and the answers come up, because of time, I will be brief. Okay, so without further ado, I will be using Kahoot today Some of you may know of this platform, others may not. So I'm going to share my screen now and talk you all through it. This isn't compulsory. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. The important thing to note is you don't have to put in your name or any personal information at all. So if you want to go to this website, so it's kahoot.it, and that can be on a phone browser or on your internet browser. You don't have to download the app, and all you have to do is type this code into the box that you will see here. You type that in, enter. It will then ask you to spin for a username. So I got Fuzzy Yak, lovely, and then you go okay, go, and I shall see all your names come up here. Wonderful, you guys have managed to do it quicker than I explained it. That's brilliant. Okay, so I'll delete myself off of here. Wonderful. Great. I know there's about 77 of you here, so I'll give you another 20 seconds or so before I start. The important thing is you can keep joining throughout the session, so don't worry too much. The pin will be at the bottom with the website link. Okay, still coming in, 36 of you. See if we can get up to 50. No, we're going to stop at 37. Oh, 38. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to start now, but as I said, you can keep joining, so don't worry too much. So the first set of questions are based on teaching methods at university. So as Perry already went through some of them, you may already know the answers to this. Again, if you don't, that's absolutely okay. I will give you a brief explanation of the answers at the end of the question. So the first one is actually going to be a test. So to see if you can use the app well, I'm going to ask you what are the main concerns that you have about university so far. So if I start. So the main difference between university and sixth form college is the independence. But what aspect of university are you so far most concerned about? So on your screen, you'll have 3 different colour blocks. Red is teaching methods and support, blue is making friends, and yellow is finances, budgeting, responsibilities. All very important things that you need to learn to do at university. Okay, I mean, I think I had the same kind of concerns about finances when I went to university. So at the end of this quiz, I'll be doing some very brief finance questions. But as I said, I will stay on the chat if you do have any student finance queries that I can help answer. But as I said, the first bit will be on teaching methods and support. And then secondly, I'll also go through some students' union stuff and how you can make friends that way through sports clubs and societies. So the first question will be a description of a specific teaching method. So can you tell me what it's defining? Number 1, this is normally a large group of students being taught by a particular subject or idea by a lecturer. So what is this? Oh, you're all quick answers. 7 more seconds. 2, 1. Perfect. Pretty much all of you got that one right. So yeah, a lecture is probably the most different form of teaching you'll have to what you've experienced at college or sixth form. So a lecture is where you'll be taught by a lecturer. Normally everyone on that module that you're studying will be in the hall, and you'll sit there for normally an hour on average whilst you're taught that specific idea or topic for that week for that module. Okay, now this differs from the next description, which I'm about to read to you. Oh, leaderboards. Well done to Zany Puffin, who's at the top, followed by Hero Kitten. Let's see if you can maintain your position. Right, what is this describing? Normally a small group of students discussing a particular subject or topic with a lecturer. Is it A, fieldwork, B, tutorial, C, seminar, or D, practical? Four more seconds. Wonderful. Yep, so this is a seminar. A seminar is probably the most similar form of teaching you will find to sixth form college, in the sense that it's a lot smaller group. So it's normally 20 to 30 students, and this is basically a group split up from the main lecture you've just had. In this seminar, you will discuss the topic you've just heard about from your lecturer and talk about the ideas and thoughts you've come up with from that topic. You will also be given reading to come to the seminar with, and it's so important that you do that reading before your seminars for any degree that you do, to make sure that you're not sat there not knowing what to say. Okay, the next description is, oh, Zany Puffin's been kicked off by Hero Kitten. Love that. Right, next one. Revision research done by a student with some support from a lecturer outside the classroom. So what is that describing? What is this particular teaching method? Is it A, independent study, B, field work, C, tutorial, or D, work placement? 7 more seconds. You get more points, I think, if you answer them quicker too, if you are trying to beat Hero Kitten at the top. Okay, so yeah, this is independent study. A lot of Q&A questions were coming through about what is contact hours, and does that mean that there's more independent study throughout the week? And normally this is the case. So I studied history at St Mary's, and I had an average only 9 hours of lectures a week. Therefore, my independent study was a lot more. So I treated my degree like a full-time job and tried to do 30 to 40 hours of studying a week. I mean, tried is the key word there. So yeah, I would spend a lot of my independent study revising for the next seminar, doing my reading, or for my assignments. You will be familiar with this as a sixth form or college student because you'll be revising for exams and for coursework now. But at university, it's slightly different because, I mean, you have teachers at school who are chasing you a bit more, whereas at university, you're expected to do that work. Okay. Oh, we have a new leader now, Legend Crane, well done. Right, next description. A one-to-one with a lecturer about a particular project or assignment. Is this A, a presentation, B, a showcase, C, a disciplinary, or D, I can't see the answer because my face is in the way, but I'm pretty sure it's a tutorial. Perfect, yes, it's a tutorial. So a tutorial is where you will sign up to speak to a lecturer on a one-to-one basis. So even though I just said that you need to be more independent at university and sixth form, your tutors are still there to help you. It's so important that you still use them. I had friends who went from first year to third year not speaking to their tutors and wondering why they never improved on their coursework or their essays that they handed in and got a bad grade on, and they didn't understand why. Also, if you do really well, it's still okay to go ask for feedback and say, why have I done well? How can I maintain this success? That's okay too. If I'm candid with you, you have to remember in many ways you're paying for that support and that service, so make sure you speak to your lecturers about how you can get away with a great degree. Right, the next one I think is a true and false. Oh, Legend Crane is maintaining their position. So true or false, guys, I won't be set any homework at university. I've already kind of given you the answer to this, so you should know. Again, sorry that I'm going through this so quickly. I want to try and get through the questions for you guys, but I will answer any Q&As, so please do send them in if you have them. 3 more questions and 3 more seconds. Perfect, so this is false. So as I said, if you are doing a degree where you have a seminar, you will have to do reading and research beforehand so that you can participate within that seminar group. But also if you're doing assignments and stuff like that, it will feel like homework if they're not marked. They do assignments like that where they don't always go toward your grade, but they're kind of a practice run to get good feedback, and they're just as important. Okay. So who's now at top of the leaderboard? Magic Gecko, well done. Okay, the next one's another true and false. Every single degree requires you to do a dissertation in your final year. If you don't know what a dissertation is, it's a large thesis or piece of work that is on an idea that you studied throughout your 3 years or 4 years at university. Mine was 12,000 words. Okay, so this is false. Some degrees, if you're doing art or acting, you may do a show at the end of your 3 years, or if you're doing art, you may like produce a portfolio. It's not every single degree that you have to do a massive dissertation. For those who are doing research topics like history or law, you may do the bigger ones like I did, like I said, at 12,000 words. Or if you're doing a sports science degree or something more practical, you might just do a 5,000 word topic that you're writing up an experiment that you've done. So every single degree differs, and they're really important questions to ask when you go to open days and you speak to your lecturers. Ask them, how am I assessed? At top of the leaderboard, we still have Magic Gecko, well done. Okay, so what is this describing? When a student is assigned to a suitable job related to their degree, gaining experience in their desired field of work. 15 seconds. Seven more seconds. Perfect. This is a placement. Now, at sixth form and sixth form and college, you may have done a placement, normally in year 10, actually, I think, if it's still the same as when I was at school. At university, you can do work placements either as part of your degree, so maybe do a module or an assignment based on a work placement that you've done or has been organised by your lecturers, or the work placement opportunity services that universities have. Or if you're applying for a sandwich degree, which is a term you may have heard of, you can take an entire year out of your degree and study in the sector that you would like to work in. A lot of students choose to do this as it complements their CV very well. And I think I've given you the answer to the next question. Well done, Excited Unicorn, for being at the top. So true or false, university placements always add a year onto your study. You should 100% get this right. Let's see. Six more seconds. 2, 1. Yeah, so this is false. So maybe I didn't explain this very well. So at St Mary's, we have a work placement centre where if you want to gain experience in any degree in the workplace, you can say to them, I would like to do a module that is assessed in a environment that I want to go into. So as a history student, I could have asked to do a work placement in a museum and not have to take any time out of my study. It would just become extra credit within my full degree. But obviously you may be more familiar with the work placements where you take a year out of university. That's not always the case. So again, a really important question to ask when you're going to open days or virtual open days, or if you're speaking to your lecturers. Mighty Dolphin, what a name, has now moved to the top of the leaderboard. Well done. Okay, what is this describing? Usually a scientific hands-on activity which tests an idea or theory. This should be a term you're familiar with, maybe depending on what subject you studied at sixth form and college. Perfect, yeah. So labs and practical, if you're doing a more scientific degree, you of course will be in lessons more. So earlier when you were asking about contact time, it's not like sixth form where you're in 9 till 3. College probably a bit more similar to university in the sense that you have a lot more free periods, or you don't have to be in college all the time. But labs and practical degrees, they will have more contact hours. You'll be doing more experiments. I'm shortly running out of time, so I think I have one more question after this one for teaching methods. No, it's a poll. So how are you feeling about university teaching methods? And then I'll wrap it up here. Two more seconds. Okay, that's a really well even split. I mean, I've only got through teaching methods here as I am going to have to wrap up, so I didn't go on to the next section of the quiz. But if you have any questions about teaching methods at all, please feel free to put questions in the Q&A, and I'll stick around to answer any finance questions you might have, as I know that's a huge topic for students. But yeah, thank you so much. I'll end there for you, Jon.
Meg, thank you. That was brilliant. How brave are you, not just embarking on technology in terms of accessing this, but also embarking on technology in terms of Kahoot. So I really enjoy, I've played along as well, Meg.
Oh, great.
And I wasn't anywhere near first, which is great. But thank you. Really good session, really interactive, brilliant. What I'll do now, if I can, just to wrap up for the last 8 minutes, is, and the Q&A is still running, and we'll, and there is, I can see there's questions outstanding. We'll work through those as well. But what I'd like to do now, just to finish the session, is just give each institution a chance, essentially, to give a 1-minute introduction to their institution, or in the case of Hannah, the Uni Connect scheme and Hello Future. Purely because I know there's virtual events going on at the moment, and loads of virtual events, by the way, are on UniTasterDays, which is unitasterdays.com/online. We advertise events for universities all over the country, but there's loads of events going on virtually, but obviously in campus, you can't see universities in person. So it's a brilliant way just to end the session by having a 1-minute introduction to each institution, or in Hannah's case, Uni Connect. So if I, Meg, I'll come back to you first, if that's okay. No break. If you just give us a 1-minute intro to St Mary's University, Twickenham, please.
Of course. Thank you, John. Sorry, you've frozen on my screen. I hope you can hear me still. Yeah, so St Mary's, we're based in southwest London, Twickenham. You may have heard it. It's very famous for rugby. We are a campus university, so there's roughly about 6,000 students on our campus studying at St Mary's. So that's a mixture of postgraduate students, undergraduate students, and foundation year students. So we're not the biggest university, but we don't really plan to be. We have a beautiful community vibe, and we kind of pride ourselves on that. So on our campus, you have everything from the sports facilities to our lecture halls to accommodation to the library. So everything is on one site. Our main portfolio of degrees range from sport health and applied science to education, humanities, social sciences. So that's business, politics, education studies, stuff like that, social studies, criminology, sociology. But we also do theology, and we're huge for primary education too. A lot of you may know us more for sport, but we are ranked quite highly for primary education too. I've had some great questions in the Q&A about St Mary's, and I'm more than happy to continue answering them. But yeah, we're about 30 minutes from central London in a great area, and I would love to welcome anyone who is here and think of St Mary's to our campus when it next opens again. But yeah, I think that's a good introduction to St Mary's, John.
Thank you, Meg. Yeah, so now if we come to Perry, please, for an introduction to the University of Essex, please.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, John. So in terms of the University of Essex, we have 3 main campuses in Colchester, Southend, and in Loughton. And with those kind of campuses, we have 3 main kind of sectors. So we have humanities, so we have subjects like law, literature, film, theatre studies. I'm probably missing a lot out here. We also have social sciences, which are subjects like sociology, criminology, politics as well is kind of a big subject for us at the University of Essex. And we also have a faculty of science and health as well. So we have subjects in biological sciences, biomedical sciences, nursing, speech and language therapy. So there's a huge range of subjects that we offer at the university. With all of our campuses, we are an hour from London, so it's a really good location in terms of the rest of the country and how you access it. And we are also very kind of proud on our community spirit at the university. So it's a place where kind of we have students from all around the world come to Essex. About 40% of our students come from outside of the UK, so it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of kind of like-minded people and get involved in a lot of stuff as well. What we really kind of encourage at the university is that you're not just here for your degree, you're here for the kind of whole student experience as well. So I covered a lot of it in my talk today, but it's kind of the opportunity really to kind of grow across kind of a few 3 years whilst you're at university in a lot of different areas, and to have a great time really.
Thank you, Perry. And sorry about the 3-second delay. I have to do a lot of clicking when I'm passing between people, which is why there is a delay. And then last but not least, welcome to Hannah to introduce Hello Future and also the Uni Connect scheme, please.
Hi, so yeah, I work for Hello Future. We are a Cumbrian-based organisation. We support young people ages 14 to 19 and mature learners as well in information, advice and guidance about accessing higher education in all its different forms. So whether it be degree-based, college-based, apprenticeship-based, and we offer support sessions, we run visits, we do a lot of trips, we do residential activity, we do skill building, we work in schools, we work with community groups, so a lot of outreach work. We obviously don't have a base, and we don't offer courses, we just offer that advice, that sort of touch base the students doing initial research or wanting to skill build ready for university. At the minute, we're doing our work through digital means. So we're doing loads more work on YouTube and through all our social media platforms. We are launching our digital delivery campaigns next week from the 1st of June. We're doing a theme every single week right across our social media. Next week, we're concentrating on Year 12 and communication. So that's going to be support for UCAS applications and interview techniques, etc. And then the following week is Year 13, and it's preparing for student life. We're using the hashtag Your Future's Bright. So if you want to come and join us and get involved, we're doing loads of interactive work, mainly concentrating on social media, as I say. We also offer a lot through our website. So if you want to download anything from our website, guides, choices guide, apprenticeship guides, please check that out. And yeah, from next week we're going to have a live chat function as well. So it doesn't matter if you're Cumbrian or not, just come along and get involved.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Wonderful. We have 1 o'clock. Brilliant. Kept to time. I've got to say, we do a survey after these events, and someone completed the survey. Someone really nice completed the survey and said, it's great you always finish on time, which just puts me under massive pressure to make sure I carry on finish on time. We've done it. It's now 1 o'clock. So just to round up, big thank you again to our speakers, Hannah from Hello Future, Uni Connect, then on to Perry from the University of Essex, and last but not least, Meg from St Mary's University, Twickenham. Thank you so much for giving up your time today and running such brilliant sessions. In terms of future events, we run these events every Tuesday until September at 12 p.m. We also have subject events on at 3 p.m. So if you're interested in engineering, at 3 o'clock today, we are running an engineering event. The subject event next week is law. And then obviously you can join us hopefully next Tuesday at 12 o'clock for the general HE events as well. A final plug is just for our website, UniTasterDays.com/online. That's where universities put on their events, and they've got some brilliant events on, approaching 500 events from universities UK-wide that are listed on there as well. So really useful resource. In terms of next steps, loads of people always contact me and say, can I have access to the video recordings? And in a couple of days, we will try and get the videos up. We obviously need to do a bit of editing ourselves and get it onto the UniTasterDays.com/Tuesdays page, which is where all our event details are stored. So whether it's looking at videos, whether it's looking at slides, whether it's looking at booking upcoming events, everything is stored on that UniTasterDays.com/Tuesdays page. And then to find out university events, online university events, that's UniTasterDays.com/online. That is me done. Hope you enjoyed the session. A massive thanks again to our speakers, and fingers crossed I'll either see you today at 3 o'clock for engineering or next week at 12 o'clock for our next general event. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. Goodbye.